gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, I ended the last video playing this video right here, and we gonna bring it up so that I need to enlarge it like this because I need to turn their volume down. We gonna let my girls be in the background, and I'm gonna let the next one play and all of that stuff because that's what I do. Uh-oh, I messed up. Hold on, because I want it minimized. And then, see, that's they YouTube ain't gonna like that. They gonna be like, "Mother, you ain't doing that." Okay, ladies and gentlemen, quite a few of you are going through some very difficult times. And what I mean by difficult times, I don't mean that you're suffering because you're sick or you have a disease or you are in pain. You're going through very difficult times because you're trying to figure out how to make ends meet. Right now, you got to deal with the system. The system is sitting up here. The system needs to keep you stressing. And the reason why the system needs to keep you stressing, because that prevents you from coming together with others and rising up against it. Remember, the Declaration talks about it being the providence of all men, if they don't like their government, to rise up against it. And so what they have done is they've come up with a psychological system to keep you from rising up. But pay attention, the United States government promotes that in every other country. Do you guys remember it's called the Arab Spring? Well, that was all promoted by the CIA in the United States. Don't go back and do the research. You'll see. I never did the research, but I guarantee you it was because it's right under their playbook. They cause all of this disruption in other countries, like Venezuela. Did you see what the United States did in Venezuela? How they've been going after Venezuela since Obama was in office, killing Hugo Chavez? Oh, no. Hugo Chavez may have died of cancer, but you don't go from stage 0 to stage 4 in 2 months and then be dead. Excuse me, that doesn't happen. We didn't have those turbo cancers back then. Do you understand? So there's no way in the world Hugo Chavez saying exactly the same thing with Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi. They told you guys what they were getting ready to do. Why? Because these leaders weren't part of the cabal, that global conglomerate. And because they weren't part of that, they have to make them part of that. So they're going to bring in a puppet. You guys seen it? They've been advertising the puppet they're going to bring in. Give me a second. They stop. Oh, that's right. I don't have it on repeating. So we're going to do with Dance with My Father, because that's Luther. Luther. Go ahead and play that in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are struggling, how do you unstruggle? Well, about almost 3 years ago, we formed an organization called Datamass. I say we because I came with the idea because everybody was saying, do you know a CPA or a tax professional that can help me with my credits? And I had to tell people, no, I don't, because that's not what I do. I don't do referrals. So hold on. So many people were asking and so many people were looking disappointed. And there was a guy, he literally donated $15,000 to me or more. Hold on now. And he, not as a result of the donation, received $10 million worth of credits from the organization. I know he didn't know what to do with the credits. I tried to do a one-on-one with him so that I could explain it, but he never got back in touch with me. So what did I do? I did the video showing you guys what to do with the credits. Well, that didn't help a lot of you. Now, some of you it helped a lot because you went and you came and you showed me and you presented the information. Hey, I got it. Some of transcripts, but what you didn't do, they're only your transcripts. Okay, fine. Okay, in order to cash in on the credits, you have to pay the taxes on the credits, or you can't do anything with it. Now, there's a gentleman I'll be speaking with possibly on Sunday. He's a little bit more advanced than the rest of you guys. You take those credits and you use the credits to pay the credits. Now, we've been saying this since 2015 when I first came up with the idea. In 2015, when we were doing, pay attention, when we were doing our 1065 K1s. I had never done 1065 K1s prior to 2017. Okay? But when we were doing 1065 K1s, I put staff to do the research. Because I said, I don't have time to do the research. And I put them on that research, and they did the research. And then one of the staff members, well, no, both of those two staff members, they decided to betray me. Both of them. Lord have mercy. The amount of money that was lost. I mean, one guy, I gave, a car. Now the car was donated to me, so I gave, one of the family members the car, and the other one I gave him my car. My car. I gave him my car, and I want you to understand, I don't hold that against him because I didn't remember I gave him the car until just now. Okay, but I gave him my car, a car that I had taken care of, a car that I had purchased from a young lady who was a teacher, took care of the car and everything. Car ran no problem, no problems with the car. Gave him my car, even gave him, just in case he had any issues, gave him a complete set of tools. Okay? Not so that he could work on that car because the car had no issues, but just gave him a complete set of tools just on the strength. Didn't charge him a dime. He took over $20,000 from the company. $20,000 because he was the acting CEO. He's not the first acting CEO that's done something stupid like that. And yes, I call it stupid. He'll say he did nothing wrong. To this day, he has not apologized. He's had his problems. He's had his problems. Even when he was going through all of that, and he had a significant other die, I, on behalf of the company, gave him thousands of dollars towards the funeral. Didn't have to, didn't have that obligation, but did that. And then he betrays me. Individuals thought because they were doing the research that they would know more than I did. And what I wanted to try to explain to them, you're doing the research because I'm the one who pointed you in that direction. You don't know more than me. Even if you did all of the research on the subject, you wouldn't know more than me because I'm the one telling you about it. Lord have mercy. So, since about 2015, when I started focusing on K1s and other IRS processes, forms, I put the staff on it in 2017. We completed the K1s in 2017. The reason why we knew it worked, I want you all to pay attention because it's very important, because they told us that we needed to pay the withholdings tax. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why most of you are not getting a refund because you're not paying the withholdings tax. I've known this since 2017. And so my thing was, well, why can't I use the credits to pay the withholdings tax? They're dollar for dollar because that's my mindset. My mindset is logic. Why can't I use the very credits that were created to pay the withholdings tax? Ladies and gentlemen, if you pay the withholdings tax, you can get a refund. You can use the credits to pay the withholdings tax. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. You have to do that. Now, DataMass is now doing a couple of steps more for you all in documenting credits and documenting some payments, not all. You'll have to communicate with them in a couple of weeks. They're just now getting the program started. We've been, let me see if I can understand, if I can help you all understand. I've been helping them train themselves on preparing that paperwork for you guys. Now, the CEOs have already known about this, but I hadn't given them permission to go forward with it because I've been giving them some key pointers along the way. Now, 5 months they have been training. They're just about ready to start handling your paperwork. There's going to be a discount for those of you who were their clients, there's going to be a discount for you guys having the extra service added to your filings. And this will be done before, my hope is before January 15th of this coming year. So just bear with us. That's the first thing. Like I said, we know some of you are struggling. And the only thing that you need to understand, you need to document your credits. Now, this is the way I'm going to explain it to you. Now, I hope some of you will get this. So they say, when he says pay attention, he's saying pay attention. I did a consult with a person yesterday, and I explained to him that you want to file your taxes as a sole proprietor. You want to use the Schedule C. The reason why you want to use the Schedule C, because the Schedule C allows you to file under the accrual method of accounting. Now, hold on. The IRS says that if you use the accrual method, you have to have used it previously. They are partially right. The IRS doesn't get to make the determination. The law makes the determination. The Chevron deference has been overturned. They don't get to tell you how to file your taxes. You tell them, this is how I'm filing my taxes. So don't, on the Schedule C, don't sit up there and make a suggestion. You don't have to fill out the 3115 form. 3115 form is a suggestion. Now, for most of our clients, we've already filled out the 3115 form for you. But hold on now. You have it because we sent it to you. Everybody whom we gave credits to, the 3115 form is included. Pay attention. Woohoo! The first thing you need to understand is the Schedule C asks what type of method did you use in preparing your taxes, cash, accrual, or a combination. All you do is, if you're doing it correctly, the accrual method. Why? Because when you do it as a business, and a sole proprietorship is a business, even an individual can do this. So you can even, but see, you can't mark the accrual method on your regular taxes. You'd have to use the Schedule C. So you'd have to do it as a sole proprietor. Pay attention. Ladies and gentlemen, as that sole proprietor, you will mark accrual if you were me. And by marking accrual on your Schedule C, doing your 1040, you are now a business. Now, businesses, here's the key, when they do their taxes, they don't add up their taxes, what they owe, until after they write off all of their expenses, all of their business expenses. There's no definition for business. There's no definition for business. I have family business, I have personal business, I have legal business, I have car business, my mama's business, my sister's business, my brother's business. Man, I have so many businesses. Who is pathetic? And I'm spending money. I'm traveling to the store. Now that's my business. And I'm paying for gas. That's also my business because I need the gas and I need the store in order for you to maintain my business. Now, I'm not going to write this on my taxes that these are the expenses that I took care of for my business. Why would I do something stupid like that so somebody can interpret that? No, I'm going to document it as a business expense. I'm going to go into ChatGPT and I'm going to say, hey, how could I label this as differently than just say, I used it for traveling to the store? How could I document that in another fashion to where it's acceptable on blah, blah, blah? And it will give you another term, another legal term to describe the exact same thing. Now, if you don't understand me, CPAs and tax preparers do this all the time for people. They just give it a certain label in order to have it qualify as a business expense on the IRS form. You just need to learn that technique as well. Hey, don't say nobody told you, okay? Because I'm telling you now, this is what puts them ahead of you. This is why you are still poor, because you're not documenting your expenses. You're not doing it as a sole proprietor. If you were doing that, you would have more money in your pocket because you'd be paying less taxes. Now, this is not about somebody hurting the government. Your taxes do not go to the government. Do your research. Your taxes don't go to paying down the debt. Your taxes go to paying their creditors. You need to understand that. Your taxes do not go to paying down the debt. You want to pay taxes, but if you do it the right way, it's a benefit for you to pay taxes. It's not something you should be running from. Well, I ain't paid taxes in 150 years. You stupid idiot. The reason why you ain't paid taxes in 150 years is because you think it's something to be afraid of. Well, taxes is a bad thing. They're evil. There is nothing evil about taxes. Taxes are a necessity. Pay attention. Even those who served God under the law covenant paid taxes. They paid tithes. But taxes and tithes are not the same thing. Yes, they are. And if you say something stupid like that again, I'm going to block you from looking at any of my videos. Tithes are taxes. That's why in the modern day churches, they charge 10% at the least. Why? Because they're going off of Malachi. Ladies and gentlemen, a sacrifice is a tax. The scriptures speak of offering up sacrifices of praise. That's a tax because you got to look at it the correct way. You can't look at it as if it's a bad thing. It's okay to be taxed. It's just certain taxes are illegal. So stop looking at tax as if it's a bad thing. Look at the entire tax situation as if it benefits you. Do your taxes as a sole proprietorship, write off your expenses because as a business, you count your income after expenses. Well, if you look at your bank account and you only have $500 in it at the end of the year, but you had $10,000 at the beginning of the year, then that means that you're not paying any taxes that year because look at all those expenses you had all year to the point where you only have $500 in the account. You just have to document it as an expense and figure out what type of an expense it should be categorized as. When you calculate all of the expenses, you have your banking statements, you have your receipts, calculate your expenses. Now, look, I've known this since I was 15 years old. When I got my first check for that year, I went to a tax preparer, the Hawkings. And when I went to the tax preparer, he told me when I gave him all my receipts, you can't do that. He was a liar. Yes, I could do that if I were to do it as a sole proprietor because I could write off all of those expenses and get a much heavier, heftier refund. Because when I write those expenses off, I am receiving those credits, deductions, and reductions dollar for dollar. I get a larger refund because I just use my credits to overpay. You can use your credits to overpay, and you are entitled to a refund for all overpayments. That is a maximum in tax law. Don't believe me? Do your research. Lord have mercy. So, my hope is that this is going to change the lives of so many of you who don't understand taxes and who are sitting up here struggling and who would like a much heftier tax return this year. Look, don't be crazy. Don't be stupid. Don't be conniving. Don't be thiving, trying to get over on, trying to get over. That's going to kill you. Okay? You can't do this to get rich. You can't do this to get over. You can't do this to lie. Don't misrepresent the facts. Well, you just told us to do that. I didn't tell you to do anything that is illegal. I told you that the law permits it. Now you just have to find it in the law where you're permitted to do what I just said. Lord have mercy. You know how they used to say there's an app for that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's a law for it. There's always a loophole in the law. Well, we call it loopholes, but they call it an exception to the rule. Okay? They call it an exception to the rule. There's no exception to the rule. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go, but I'm going to leave you with that information. Hopefully that will benefit many of y'all in the coming years. And so y'all can stop sitting up here saying you ain't going to pay no tax. What? The scriptures tell you to pay taxes. They literally, even Jesus paid taxes. So, hey, he did pay taxes. Go and look at when man, I'm not going to tell y'all, because you know more than me. I'm going to shut up. Lord have mercy. Taxes are not a bad thing. No, I don't work for the system. The system don't work for me. I just told you how to get paid by paying taxes. Lord have mercy. They don't want you to know that. I promise you they don't want you to know that. But look, it doesn't hurt the system when you pay taxes and you document your expenses because the system is designed for you to document your expenses. The only problem is you haven't been documenting your expenses. And that's why you're in the problem and situation and circumstance you're in right now, having nothing. You can go back 3 years, you can amend your taxes for the past 3 years. And if you didn't do it correctly the years before, 2019, 2020, 2017, 2016. If you didn't do those taxes correctly all of that time, go back, get them credits, and bring them forward. I know that's the problem. You need to learn this stuff. I'm not here to teach you this. This is not my job. My job is to point you in this direction so you can do the research. Too many of you are lazy. Shut up. The first thing you want to do is come up with negativity. You haven't even tried to do the research because I just told you about it. But then the first thing you want to talk about is what you don't know. And that's why you're going to remain ignorant because you're never going to know anything because you're always coming up with a negative. You're always coming up with a defeative conversation. Shall we say defeatist? No, defeative. Okay. You're sitting up there stabbing your own self because you're not even willing to take the time to learn, which is stupid. Okay. Yeah, I called you stupid. I don't mind calling you stupid. Stupid is what stupid does. Forrest Gump's mama was a genius. Lord have mercy. Give that woman some credit. She should have got a Nobel Peace Prize instead of Trump because that's who she was talking about. I'm sorry. I got to go because I'm starting to see orange. Oh, man. Do y'all see all the orange in front of me? Oh, Lord.